All right, so today we're going to look at centralization, right? We're going to see the meaning of centralization, factors that would give rise to its adoption, then merits and demerits of centralization, right? So whenever we talk about this concept, centralization, words that can come to your mind is the center. For example, if I say Nigeria, the center or the heart of Nigeria is Abuja, right? If I say the center of America, you would mention the capital, right? So the idea centralization simply refers to a process where governmental power is concentrated in one single central authority, right? Most often you will find this single central authority at the capital, at the heart of the country. Let me come again. It refers to a system of government administration in which power, political power, is concentrated in one single central authority. This power is not shared. So there is no constitutional division or sharing of governmental powers. It's just one central authority. So let me use Nigeria for an example. All power resides with the central government in Abuja. Therefore, there may not be any states. And imagine Nigeria without states and capital, without 36 states and capital, because the presence of these 36 states simply means that each of these states have some power they can exhibit or they can use within their states. So when we say centralization, it means that all political power resides in one single central authority. So there is no state government, there is no state capital, there is no other possibility of sharing this power. It is not shared. The Constitution does not allow its sharing. It resides in one single central authority, right? However, this central authority can delegate powers, right? They can give other institutions within the state, the sovereign state, the power to act on their behalf. It doesn't mean that those institutions are equal to them or are sharing powers with them. No. If, for instance, the central government tells, let me use an example of what we're familiar with. Let's say we have the Ministry of Health, and it has branches all over the 36 states, and there is a curfew to be imposed in, let's say, Kogi State, right? The Ministry of Health can tell its branch in Kogi State to get some things done, to implement and follow up the enforcement of the curfew in that state. So that branch in Kogi State is not independent, it's an extension of the Federal Ministry of Health, which is based at Abuja. So what we're saying is that the Ministry of Health can delegate power to its field units in the different states so that they can act on the behalf of the central body, right? So in centralization, this is what we say happens there. So power is not shared. You can't say that the Ministry of Health in the branch in Kogi State is independent, right? Is equal to, is a partner with the branch, the central body in Abuja. No. Now, this highest degree of centralization is found in unitary states, right? We've done unitary before. So if you look at the definition we're going to see here, it says in such a unitary state, there is only one legislature, one executive, one judiciary at the national level. That means at the center of the government, at Abuja, you have only one organ of government. There is no other organ of government in Nigeria. That means you don't have 36 states anymore. You don't have duplication of these organs of government. No, just that one in Abuja, right? So local authorities that exist in a centralized state are created by the central authority. So if there are local governments, for example, in UK, you may have local governments in the different districts or counties, as the case may be, right? They are created by the central, and the central delegates power to them so that they can perform some roles, right? So they don't have the power to act on their own. They depend on the central for the authority to administer to the local units. So this kind of system is seen in Britain, in France, and in Italy, right? So factors that will give rise to its adoption: the size of the country. If the size of the country is geographically small, relatively small, they tend to go for a centralized system, maybe a unitary system by extension. And most often, if they are culturally homogeneous, that means they have similar culture, common culture. You will see this most often in European states like England, like Belgium, like Italy, right? It also means that, that's number three, lack of fear of domination. So because they have similar cultures, there is the absence of fear that tribe A is dominating tribe B. Now, go for it tells you common languages and common culture. This kind of environment, they have common languages, common culture. There is the absence of minority group. There is no minority, there is no majority. All eyes, so everybody's loyalty is given towards the central government. You see, this kind of thing can't happen in a federal system. So when we go to decentralization, you will see the opposite of centralization, right? So do you understand what I'm trying to say so far? Right? Let's look at the advantages. So it leads to the formation of a strong and stable government because everybody's loyalty is focused at the central government or is given to the central government. So there is a huge reduction of cost in governance because there is no duplication of governmental functions. There is just one executive, one legislative, one judiciary at the central level. So you don't duplicate it. For example, in Nigeria, there's duplication. You have the executive, legislative, and judiciary at the central level. In all the 36 states, you have them again, executive, legislative, judiciary. So it is duplication. It leads to waste of resources. Now, because there is just one central government, it leads to quick decision making. It promotes national unity. Everybody is united towards the central government, right? There is uniformity in development because it's from one central to every other person. So there is no friction in the government between the federal and the component units. There's no friction at all because there is just one central government. What are the demerits? It keeps the people far away from the government because the central can be far away, right? So, for example, imagine if Abuja is just the only government institution in Nigeria. Imagine those living in Akwa Ibom State. They will be far away from the central government, right? So now, because all power resides in the central government, it takes us to option two. It encourages dictatorship. So also, because there's only one central government, it is always overburdened. Every decision must be made by the central government, and it prevents local autonomy. That is, people cannot govern themselves at the local level. Every decision must come from the central government. Very important we note this. So because of number four, number five comes to exist, it kills local initiative, right? So all decisions made in the community must be approved by the central government. So if the local government or if the people at the local unit come up with an idea that will benefit them, if it must be subjected to scrutiny at the central government. If the central government does not approve, it does not work. So this kind of system does not suit large territories like Nigeria. No way. Right? So I'm going to rest my case here. Remember, we looked at centralization, its meaning. We saw factors that would give rise to its adoption, and we saw its merits and demerits. If you have any question or clarification, put it in the comment section. I'll be there to answer it.